Box office struggles and legal troubles have recently spelled doom for Marvel, but now fresh faces and doppelgangers are promising a new path forward for the looming Doomsday. Here's everything we know so far. As of December 2024, Avengers Doomsday is slated to hit theaters on May 1st, 2026, while Avengers Secret Wars is currently pegged for May 7th, 2027. But Marvel release dates have been shuffled around before, so these could very well change in the meantime. In 2022, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige announced at San Diego Comic-Con that the next Avengers movie, originally subtitled The Kang Dynasty, was set to come out on May 2nd, 2025. A lot has happened with that project, and after some restructuring, Kang Dynasty was changed to Doomsday. Filming is currently set to begin in the spring of 2025, which will give the team about a year to complete production and post-production, if they want to hit that 2026 premiere date. If this plan holds, that means there will be a 7-year gap between Avengers movies, with Endgame having come out in 2019. In 2022, Feige spoke with MTV News about the decision to make these team-up films less frequently. As he explained, as phases 4, 5, and 6 were coming together, there are more projects in less years because of all the amazing stuff we're now allowed to do on Disney Plus and getting characters from Fox. It felt like, certainly after Infinity War and Endgame, that we thought Avengers movies aren't cappers.
We are currently in the midst of the multiverse saga, which will culminate into Avengers films.
When the next Avengers movie was originally planned as the Kang Dynasty, the MCU tried to establish Kang the Conqueror as its next Thanos-level threat. As played by Jonathan Majors, Kang was a primary antagonist in 2023's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Even though he's defeated by the end of that movie, there's also a stadium full of Kangs, indicating that his power runs throughout the multiverse. Variants of Kang known as He Who Remains and Victor Timely also appear in the Loki TV series, but now the MCU is heading in a different direction. This is largely due to Majors' legal troubles, which began when his ex-girlfriend accused him of domestic abuse. Following his arrest in March 2023, Marvel Studios kept things close to the vest for the remainder of the year regarding the actor's future with the franchise. In December of that year, Majors was convicted of second-degree aggravated assault and third-degree misdemeanor assault. Marvel then promptly dropped him from any future projects, opting to go in a completely different direction with the next Avengers movie by making Doctor Doom the big bad. News about Doomsday's cast has been steadily trickling out, with further announcements bound to come soon. The most high-profile star confirmed thus far is Robert Downey Jr. He was the face of the MCU for over a decade as Tony Stark, but he'll switch things up this time around as Doctor Doom. Plenty of fans were initially a little worried about Downey playing the classic Fantastic Four villain, as it felt a bit like stunt casting. But he's a consistently entertaining, award-winning actor, so we imagine he'll prove to be an imposing threat. Benedict Cumberbatch will return as Doctor Strange, and we imagine that this will be a pretty sizable role, considering that he knows plenty about the multiverse following 2022's Multiverse of Madness. It's also being confirmed that the main cast of the Fantastic Four First Steps, which is due to arrive in July 2025, will reprise their roles in Doomsday. This includes Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, and Eben Mars-Bacharach as Ben Grimm. Reports also suggest that Anthony Mackie's Captain America and Tom Holland's Spider-Man will be in the mix as well. And to top it all off, a good chunk of the cast of Thunderbolts are also rumored to show up after their own movie comes out in May 2025. But perhaps the most intriguing casting news since Downey is the announcement that Chris Evans will also be returning to the MCU. But he won't be Steve Rogers, as he's rumored to be playing Nomad instead. Nothing regarding his return has been officially confirmed though. Regardless, the idea of Downey and Evans playing villains in the same movie is a tantalizing possibility, although it's worth noting at this point that Evans could be playing almost anyone. After all, he did just pop up in Deadpool and Wolverine as Johnny Storm, so he seems up for whatever these days.
We don't know that guy.
We thought we did.
It shouldn't surprise any fan when Marvel is incredibly tight-lipped about all of its projects. Because of the studio's legendary silence, we don't yet have a clear idea regarding the plot of Doomsday, and we probably won't until a trailer is released. For now, all we can do is make some educated guesses. Following the official announcement of Doomsday, a rumored synopsis leaked revealing what the plot of the Kang Dynasty might have been. This should be taken with a grain of salt, but it was reportedly going to involve anchor beings from various universes trying to defeat the Council of Kangs. These beings would have included the likes of Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield as their respective Spider-Man, and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Their failure in this fight would lead to the creation of Battleworld in the lead-up to Avengers Secret Wars, which was intended to incorporate even more characters. It's unclear if Doomsday will go in an entirely different direction, or basically just swap out Kang for Doom. Either way, it's probably safe to assume that an eclectic collection of heroes will try to stop Doctor Doom from doing something and fail, at least at first, which would then lead into Secret Wars. At 2024's San Diego Comic-Con, it was also announced that Anthony and Joe Russo would be back to direct both Doomsday and Secret Wars. Marvel has had an incredibly fruitful relationship with these filmmaking brothers, as they've previously helmed Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Captain America: Civil War, Avengers: Infinity War, and Avengers: Endgame. The hiring of the Russos for these next chapters is incredibly fortuitous, which was clear in 2022 when they told Deadline, "Our love for Marvel is based on the books that we read as kids, the books that we fell in love with. The one series that we adored growing up was Secret Wars. It's incredibly ambitious. It would be bigger than Infinity War and Endgame, but it's a massive undertaking." While Infinity War and Endgame were filmed back-to-back with only a 4-week break between, there will be a more sizable hiatus between filming the next 2 Avengers flicks. Anthony Russo has stated that there will be about a year between productions, so if work on Doomsday kicks off in the spring of 2025, Secret Wars will likely begin toward the beginning of 2026 in order to meet its 2027 release date. The Russos will once again work with Stephen McFeely on the scripts for Doomsday and Secret Wars. McFeely and the Russos previously collaborated on the screenplays for The Winter Soldier and Avengers: Endgame, and it sounds like the directors are keeping a close eye on the current writing process.
We've always worked very closely with Marcus and McFeely through all the work that we've done together.
It's worth noting that McFeely and Christopher Marcus are usually a writing partnership in the MCU. The two have also continued working with the Russos outside of Marvel, having written the scripts together for The Gray Man and The Electric State. However, Marcus doesn't appear to be involved with Doomsday. McFeely replaced Michael Waldron, who had been hired to pen the script for the Kang Dynasty after previously working on Multiverse of Madness and Loki. McFeely coming aboard suggests a complete changing of the guard, perhaps hinting at a vastly different story from the one that was mapped out for Kang Dynasty. Alan Silvestri is a legendary composer whose credits include the likes of Back to the Future, Predator, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He's also been an integral force in the MCU, including the last 2 Avengers movies, and he's set to come back for both Doomsday and Secret Wars. Considering all the familiar faces within the cast and crew, it looks like Marvel is opting for a tried-and-true formula. But that makes sense, as these are going to be massive movies, and a chance to prove that the MCU still belongs at the top of the modern entertainment landscape. We imagine Silvestri's iconic Avengers theme will be heard in Doomsday, but hopefully he also takes his compositions in intriguing new directions. After all, Doctor Doom surely deserves his own unforgettable theme. With nothing really concrete to pull from, all we can really do at this point is speculate what might happen in Doomsday and Secret Wars. One fan theory posits that Robert Downey Jr. is actually playing a variant of Doctor Doom who used to be Tony Stark, but pursued a path of evil instead of good. This would give him a solid entryway into the story while leaving the door open for a more proper Victor Von Doom to appear later in the MCU. Looking ahead, another fan theory suggests that Secret Wars will be a soft reboot of the MCU, possibly through a merging of universes into one, where the main timeline's population includes mutants. Fans also have a lot of thoughts about the epic showdown that's potentially being set up for Secret Wars. Some believe that Downey's Doctor Doom could manipulate Peter Parker to help him, since he has the same face as his former mentor, while others have speculated that Doomsday may be a secret Avengers vs. X-Men film. But of course, until there's more solid information, our imaginations will just continue to run wild with a multiverse of possibilities.